Morning. So, I'm probably a little fuzzy and out of focus as I'm trying to figure that part out. So, to any of my video friends that want to recommend a nice lens for me for that would be great. I'm currently using a 25mm Zeiss Distagon, which is cool for the wider, but haven't figured out how to make it just focus on me. So good morning, 200%. So good morning to you all. This is a seltzer. So no clue if anybody has any questions or anything. I am happy to be joining you this morning. So I have in front of me the Microcosm, and I am by no means any sort of qualified authority to be talking about this whatsoever. So naturally, I decided to talk about it. I have the comments up over there if you have any questions. Kind of wanted to just do a Q&A thing if you had anything specifically, if you were waiting on your device and you wanted to hear some sounds, if you were deciding whether or not you want to make the investment in the box and just want to hear some things, just let me know. I'll take a peek over and I'll happily show you whatever you want. But yeah, so this has been out for, I guess, the week, a little over a week now. People have had their boxes. So I've had the distinct pleasure of working with the Hologram team before it released, and got to play with it for a little while, for a couple of months beforehand. So I really fell in love with this box. It's really cool. It's got a ton of stuff in it. I'm not going to do a demo of like, this is this effect and this is this bank and you have all these things. Somebody else is going to do it way better, and they're going to do it soon, I'm sure. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But a lot of the questions that I had been getting were people wanting to know how it plays with other effects and if it plays nicely into a pre-existing board. And specifically, some of the questions I were getting is, how does it play with the other hologram pedals? And I have the infinite jets on my board, so I'd be happy to go through some of the settings there. And I have this funky little camera up here, just so you can kind of see. This was a last minute addition, so sorry if it looks a little funny and weird and if it's dark in here. I don't know. I'm working this out, so thanks for hanging with me. Okay, so far it appears as though we don't have any questions. So this might just be nice, short, and sweet. I'm just going to run through a few things that I like on it. I'm going to do a couple of things just practically. I have a couple of loops that I have set up from a previous live stream that I did that I'm just going to kind of like play over since it's a little easier. And then I'll just show you the box itself. So for anybody joining, good morning. Thank you very much for deciding to spend 20-30 minutes with me. And yeah, so let's kind of get started with something here, shall we? I'm just going to check on the stream here. It appears as though okay. Well, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. So I'm just going to play around a little bit. One of my favorite things to do is to actually just boot it up right in Mosaic. And I have an expression pedal plugged in that is defaulting to the filter. So the filter gets defeated on this knob here because the expression pedal is going to control it. And I'll just show you a couple of things that I like to do with that, and then we'll hop back over. So one of the tricks I like to do with it is run it in, I'm in Mosaic A. I like to do a little line, and you can control the filter, which is kind of like a fade in, I guess, which I could do as well with the mix knob. But since it's just plugged in, I like the filter kind of sweeping up, so you can do some lines. A little Eric Johnson. And then you can ramp in. Stuff such as that. You can hear that you can get a little resonance out of that. Yeah, let's just play around for a little bit and I'll be back. Kind of forgot that that was on our arpeggio. Anyways, I don't really have anything planned. So if anybody has any questions, that would be cool. Otherwise, this might just be really short. So you just asked about looping, which is great because that's what we're doing right now. So, first and foremost, if you want to get into the looper, you have to turn on the phrase looper button. You gotta click that guy, and then these bottom buttons become their secondary features. So you have record, play, overdub, and that's the way it goes. Tap to record, tap to start entering into playback. Then if you want to overdub onto that, like I just did, tap it again, drop in. This button will stop you. And now from here on out, your looper's going to stay a solid color because it's telling you that it's full, kind of like Ghostbusters. Whatever they say about the trap being clean or something like that. The light's green, trap's clean. So if it's solid, it means you got a loop in there. So anytime you hit playback now, you're gonna get your loop again. And one of the things that I really enjoy about this that they added kind of at the last minute, which is amazing, is the playback speed. So you have like different sectors, kind of, where you're getting your different playback speeds. Anything on the left-hand side is going to be a decrease in your speed, so half speed, quarter speed, and then anything past noon is going to be faster, which I love that little ramp too. Very dramatic. So then there were some questions about the pre-effects and how that works with the looper. So in order to get into these other parts of your phrase looper, and of course you can just go right into reverse. There you go. Functions just like a looper then, which is one of the reasons why I love this box so much, is you've got so many things just right at your disposal. And putting it before something like the Immerse gives you this instant just bed that I'll show you, and we're going to build that up. I'm going to mute the mic for 1 second. And if you have a more specific question about the looper, feel free to ask me, but I'll keep talking about it. Hold on 1 second. Cool. So it's just something to show you how easy it is to get something really floaty like that. Okay, so with the phrase looper, the way that it naturally functions when you just turn it on is it's at the end of the chain. So they're calling these little boxes over here the micro loop, the granules, the glitch, the multi-delay banks. Those are live effects. So the looper comes after the live effects. It's at the end, it's a catch-all. It's going to listen to and record anything that you're feeding into it. Now, if you want to take this loop that you have built and put it through something else, you can do that. So that's going to be a pre-effects. And now to access that, you're going to press and hold the phrase looper until you see a little light animation. There you go. Now it's blinking to let you know. So now what you can do is you can use the preset selector knob to step around that circle. So you see you got pre-effects, looper only, quantize, and burst. So looking at the pre-effects, if you want to do that, in order to select it, you got to click this selector knob. We're now in pre-effects mode. You can press and hold the phrase looper, and now this fella is going to be going through, let's put it through haze, shall we? Yeah, just figure out which way we're going here. Okay. So now that loop that we made in blocks has been rerouted to the beginning of the live effect chains, and we're feeding it through a different preset. Now, I know the question that you'll probably all want to know is, oh, sorry, there are some things over there. Okay, let me take a look at the comments to see what you're asking. 1 second. Got it. So let's we'll put a pause on this looper for a second, because you wanted to hear some of the pattern stuff, which is totally cool. So here's the one thing that I will say about the looper, is that when you switch through, and now we're going to go to a different bank, and let's say you've turned pre-effects off because you don't care about that, so you want it to just be at the end, and you want to capture this, and you're going to go play again, and you're like, oh yeah, I like what's happening here, and you go to hit record. Here's the thing that has tripped me up, and I want to just caution you. If that phrase looper button is not pulsing, it means it's full. That means there's a loop in there. So if you go to hit record again, really what you're going to be doing is triggering playback. So just a thing to keep in mind there. It's happened to me a few times where I'm like, whoa, what the hell? So I'm going to erase this loop, and you do that by pressing the hold button on the right there. And now you see the phrase looper, which you may or may not be able to see on this camera, is now pulsing. So that means that, yeah, we can capture a loop. There's space there. So I'm going to turn the phrase looper off for a second. And you had asked, do you want to hear pattern stuff? So let's see about some of that isolated. So as I'm sure you guys have probably figured out, the activity knob and the repeats kind of interrelate to each other. I am always one for more is more, and I like that. So I keep the activity knob up pretty high because I like to hear the effect, and I keep the repeats up kind of high too. And I'll play an actual note for you. And the cool thing about this box is these lights right here above the hologram logo, they're telling you a lot of things. So as you know, you step through the 4 different banks within each of these live effects here. So they're A, B, C, D. But then once you start playing, they are giving you feedback. So that's a bit of pattern there. Here's the D bank there. To just jump really quickly to let you know. Yeah, so mainly we're focusing just on the microcosm. I will show you kind of how it can play with all the other stuff, but I can't stand just a dry guitar. So I have my Meris Mercury 7 at the end of this, just very lightly. I can show you what it sounds like without that. You hear the reverb is coming from the microcosm. Everything else right now is just microcosm. Let's just get a little thing going on. So you can hear, we've got it held. You hear something that you like. Now this is similar to the mood, and I saw the mood in the blooper question. It's sort of micro looping now. You hear a little something that you like, you can just grab it, and now you can affect what's going on with it. Maybe we get a little bit more of a line going. Which I just think is a neat little touch to have there when building a soundscape. That's mainly how I'm using it. Yeah, so anyways, that's the just dry without the Mercury 7, but like I said, and I apologize, I can't play without that on. So there's a unsolicited plug for the Mercury 7. Okay, so a couple of you are asking about the reverb though. Yes, there are 4 different reverbs. So if you haven't discovered yet, this knob over here, or the button, sorry, over here to the left that's above the tap and the record play dub, if you press and hold that, it's going to give you secondary functions to all of these knobs, and it also is the secret to the playback speed in the looper as well. So if you would like to select your reverb time, there are 4 different banks of your reverb. So what you do is press and hold that shift select button, and now you grab the space knob because you see these blue lights are giving you the indication that, yeah, what do you want to do? And you turn that knob, and you'll see that you can step through these 4 teal banks, so A, B, C, and D. D being the ambient one, which is pretty lush and huge. So let me show you that one with Mosaic. One sec. Going on there, and I'll take it out completely. Bring it in. I'll show you what I really like to do to get something going. So on the ground here I have a boomerang looper running in free, and I'll just show you how we can get like a really nice bed going with this thing very quickly. can hear, it's pretty, it's like all too easy to just get something going that sounds really nice. So I have my seltzer. If you have your coffee or your tea, hope you're enjoying that. Yeah, and thanks for sticking with me through this thing. I've never really done a question and answer type of thing like this, so it's fun. And I'll just stop this for a second. So I don't know what the majority of you make up who is joining us right now, but if you have the box and you have some questions and you want to see, just ask me. Otherwise, if you want to hear something, that's totally cool too. So what I'd like to do is just do a few more things and then let everybody go on their day. But I think the biggest trip up that I've been hearing is about the phrase looper, and whether or not, the manual is clear enough about some of that stuff. So, excuse me, let's take a peek at the phrase looper. So all these buttons down here are going to have their primary functions in black when the phrase looper is not on. So this is going to be our tap for our repeats. If you're not in phrase looper, this will be your hold knob. Now you've got that forever and ever until you take it out of hold. Okay? Then if you would like to turn on the phrase looper, hit that center button. And now we're in a place to record something. It's flashing, so it means that it's ready to take in a loop. If it's solid, you'll see at the end of a loop here, it's letting you know it's full, so you can't do anything with it. That took me a minute to kind of figure that out. A few times tripped myself up. But let's just do a little loop here. And of course there's like MIDI capabilities so that you can also quantize this loop if you're an insane person and you want your loops perfect. I'm just kidding. I haven't really delved into a lot of that. And for the way that I play, I just like things kind of free falling and runaway training on me. So just more fun. So anyways, let's just do something really quick. Okay, now we can mess with it's in reverse, showing you the phrase looper is full. We're playing back this loop, and you hold this shift button and turn the time knob, and you can do different speeds. Just so nice. And then again, I'll show you, I really love to do something like this. Yeah, I reverb stack, and for better or worse, that's what happens. The Immerse does this really amazing shimmer mode. The Mercury 7 has this really great cathedra that I just leave on. It's part of my sound. And then the Microcosm has this great reverb, which on its own is amazing, but pairing it, you're not going to really replace any of your boxes. You're also not going to have a lot of overlap. So it's just different flavors of the whole thing. And I think that there can be really cool features of not using the reverb on this box and just kind of like getting crazy with it. Just letting it be wild. And then there it is. So you can hear it's nice. Then I'll just show you just one last thing and then I can let everybody go. Was getting questions about how this plays with the Infinite Jets. The answer is really well, actually. So I'll play that. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's get weird. Well, I love Blade Runner, so that would be amazing. So we've got a few things going on here. We have yeah, that's the Mercury 7 at work there. Okay, so what we have going on mainly right now is the Infinite Jets and the Microcosm. Infinite Jets was in Swell B that I've tweaked and created a user preset for based off of how I like to use it. It does these like violin-y octave swells. And I was feeding it into Mosaic on the Microcosm. From the Microcosm, we were going into the Immerse and then down to my looper that is now playing back at half speed, getting that low drone. And then what I did is I switched the Infinite Jets over to the Glitch B mode and fed some notes into it and did some knob automation that you're listening to right now. And that's playing into the ARP of the Microcosm. So I'll just kill this for a second. And we can put it into a more noticeable preset maybe. on a second. We're in the user banks now. Really like haze. I have my expression pedal that I'm using with my foot right now to create that filter sweep. Really trippy, we'll turn on the phrase looper and we're gonna record this into the microcosm for a beat, and I'm gonna enter play at the same time that I'm gonna turn off the infinite jets. Okay, and that's pretty sick. Let's mess with the playback speed. There you go. Infinite doom. And again, I was cheating a little bit. It's Therme. But the whole thing, Microcosm, just fits right into whatever you're doing. So I'm a big fan of it. I really like it. Feeling like I'm going to let everybody go now. Thanks so much for joining. If you have any specific question that you want me to take a look at before we hop off here, shoot it in the comments right now. I'm just going to let this thing play back for a minute. Check out the comments, and then hope everybody has a really nice Sunday. Regarding the Big Sky, I don't think you can really do wrong with the Big Sky. I think that from what I understand, it is a large device. The Microcosm is a large device. So if you're talking about board space and ambient reverbs, the two that I use and recommend are the New Neighbor Immerse MK2 Mark II and the Mercury 7 from Maris. I've had the Mercury 7 from Maris for about 2 years, and last month when I wired everything up for the rest of this thing into stereo, it became a completely different reverb for me, and I'm never getting rid of it, never selling it, I'm never turning it off, and nobody is going to get this. So if that's not, an endorsement for the Mercury 7, I don't know what would be. So I would recommend that, checking out that one. Maris makes amazing stuff. I'm sure you can find it on Reverb or something like that. But the Immerse is the smallest. It's stereo reverb, stereo in, stereo out. You got a ton of different algorithms on here. I really love the shimmer and the wet. It's just really kind of amazing. So yeah, we're just chilling here with the Microcosm, listening to it play back a loop at half speed, and it's doing its own thing. So let me take a peek here. Yes, so expression pedal, you can do it to any of the knobs. I don't think that you can do it to the preset selector. I feel like that would be MIDI control that you'd probably be able to do with that. Again, I haven't really messed that much with it, so apologies. I like it on the filter knob. I find it probably most useful on something like the filter, the mix, or the activity. I like the repeats up pretty like 3 o'clock just because it's going to hang there for a minute. And then if you assigned the expression to activity or something like that, you could get these blooms of sound. But most of the sounds I think sound really great with the activity up because you're like just hearing what it's actually doing. Yeah. Let's see if we got anything else. Right, so the beats question. I'm running everything right through Ableton right now. I have some live streams where I do everything improvised with the board and with Ableton, and I live perform with visuals as well that are in New York. I'm in Austin, and I layer that stuff in. If you want to check that out, it's all Ableton stuff, and it's on sixmissing.com, and you can just go to the live stream archive. You just scroll down, and it'll be all right there to check out. The last couple sets I did were a few weeks ago in April. So thanks for your question on that, but it's Ableton. I'm using a couple of drum racks and all of that stuff. What a triumphant way to end, huh? Thanks so much for checking it out. Cool. So again, I appreciate it. Thanks for spending a little time with me on Sunday. And I hope you have a nice holiday weekend. And if you have any questions, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at TJ Demser, which I'm sure you probably already know. And I'll post this as a replay on IGTV probably later this week at some point. But yeah, again, I'm not an authority on this. I have no clue the MIDI capabilities and all of that. I really haven't delved into it. But I would suggest picking up a Roland UM1 as a USB to MIDI device. And then I think your whole world of possibilities is going to open up with your MIDI I/O on the back of this Microcosm device. I suggest picking it up. Let me know if you like it, and don't tell me if you don't. All right, have a nice day, everybody.